The Basshole podcast is sponsored by BlueChew. That's right, BlueChew. Have better sex with BlueChew. BlueChew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And starting now, BlueChew is offering a combo so strong it's going to knock your socks off and your neighbor's socks off. You're going to have to move towns with the amount of noise that you're going to be making. Introducing BlueChew Max. It's arrived, it's here, and it combines all the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable tablet. That's right, one tablet. This combo acts fast and it lasts. And you can get your first month free by going to BlueChew.com and using the promo code BASSHOLE at checkout. That's right, just pay $5 shipping for your first month. That's BlueChew.com, promo code BASSHOLE for your first month free. Now, let's meet some bassholes.
What is Podcasting from Basshole Studios in Los Angeles.
What time is it?
It's Basshole with Doug Bass.
Asshole, major
We've
asshole.
all been one. So let's laugh about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
He's an asshole. Do it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Hey everyone, welcome to Basshole. My name is Doug Bass. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Basshole Show, and the YouTube experience is on YouTube at Basshole Show. I'm excited for our show today. We have our guest, our comedian guest today is comedian Jonesy. You've seen him on the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. You've seen him perform all over the place. He's been on Letterman. He does it all. Jonesy, how are you, man? Thanks for coming into the studio.
I appreciate you inviting me here. It's an honor, and it's really exciting and cool to see your new space here. I think this is really, really cool.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
It looks amazing. This is a good thing for you, man.
I mean, it took, we were talking about it a little bit when you got here, but it took like 3 months to build it, kind of, I did everything myself, which it was, I don't know if that was a good idea, but, people were like, you need help. I'm like, I don't really know what you'd help with because I'm like figuring it out as I go, so I was like, I don't know, but yeah, it took a while to do, but we're up and running now, and I think we have a couple more things to do, and that's about it.
How many guests have you had in the new space here? What number am I?
You are, let me see, you're probably like number 5 maybe.
All right.
And I haven't, we're just starting off the new season. Like as we're filming this, tomorrow is the new season. So
it's a new season.
It's a new season, yeah.
Oh.
So I'm filming a bunch, and then we're gonna air them over the course of whatever.
How many episodes per season do you?
We're gonna do 30.
30.
30, yeah.
Wow, that's
right?
Ambitious, man.
It's too much.
That's really.
Wow. I know. Well,
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll see. Because like it's interesting doing this because it's we do like I try to do current events and stuff as well. So it's like some episodes I'll have like 2 people on with me, and we'll cover like news and stuff like that. But then I gotta like release that like the next day, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but then I like to have like sit down things like this too, where I get to like catch up and like talk to people that I know and respect and stuff like that. So there's a combination of like, all right, I'm going to release this because it's news, but then there's like a guest I got to release, and then sometimes I have the guest on, and then we also do news. So if I do news, then it's like, well, that one has to like go quicker. It has to be up sooner than the other ones, So I haven't quite figured out like the exact master science of like releasing the schedule, because you have a podcast too, right? Like,
and I do news 5 days a week,
right?
So I got to get it out every day.
So do you do it 5 days a week?
I do 5 days a week.
Really? What is your podcast called again? It's
Weird AF News.
Weird AF News.
It's weird news.
So you're doing current events every day.
Every day, but weird current events from around the world.
Yeah.
The weirdest stuff I can find.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, I only do weird news from Florida.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's our jam right there.
Yeah. I try to look up weird news stories too and cover them on the show.
They're so fun, right?
They're fun. They're different.
Yeah, they have jokes built in usually,
Right.
and people are curious about this stuff. It's the kind of stuff you can talk about in the cafeteria at work. The weird news. Who wants to talk about Trump and tariffs?
Well,
we're sick of that crap.
That's
right?
the thing, yeah. Because it's like when I try not to do too many politics on the show, but then like some people get on, they start talking about it, and I'm like, all right, let's do like 5 minutes on it, and then let's move on. You know what I mean?
I think if I was to do politics or anything, I don't think I could have lasted as long as I have. I'm about to hit 2,000 episodes.
Oh, wow.
If I was doing politics, man, I would just be getting hammered by complaints, people complaining, and people writing bad reviews. Because you're drawing a line in the sand, and you're just creating enemies, even if you don't want to.
Especially if you have a certain side you're supporting or whatever, and you want to. It's interesting because like when we do politics or we release clips about like talking about Trump or whatever's going on, like they get a lot of views and like people like either hating or like liking it or whatever. But like, yeah, it's the ones that like definitely like poke the bear. You know, it's like you get people in there and they're like, I don't know. You know,
so maybe that's maybe that's like sort of one of the downfalls of me doing weird news is they're not so clickbaity like what I could be doing if I was just doing regular mainstream news right now, because you could really just grab something out of the headlines.
They're not as mainstreamy, but they're interesting. And sometimes I'll put up like a couple of the weird news things, like when I have people here and they're like, wait, what are you talking about? Because they have no idea what it is. And I'm just like, this is the story, and I'll read it or whatever, you know, and then like see everyone's opinion or thoughts on it or whatever. But yeah, like whatever is like trending in the news like that day is the obvious thing to talk about, but everyone's also doing that. So
that's the other thing. Your competition's huge. My competition's there's no other daily weird news podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. Someone does a weekly, and there's some monthly ones, but no one's doing it 5 days a week.
5 days a week, yeah.
The people who are listening to my show alongside, like they'll listen to their CNN, Fox News, whatever their daily lineup of news is, and then they'll usually end on mine because it's kind of an upbeat. They can kind of laugh about the world.
I love that.
Instead of,
and it's different. Yeah. Now you've been doing your podcast for how long now? How long has it been? How many episodes you said? 2000. So how many years has that been?
I think it's 7 years.
7 years. So you started
at least 6 years.
So you started before pandemic.
Yeah, I was doing it through the pandemic.
And so you were kind of like in the beginning of like when podcasting kind of became blowing up a little bit more than like when people I got into it during pandemic.
Yeah, so, most comics friends of mine also got into it out of the pandemic. You know, they had the extra cash, they like bought some equipment and the boredom.
Right, exactly.
So they got into it. But I was doing it long before that. Yeah. It's easy to do when I don't have a guest, man. So I don't have to coordinate with anybody.
Right.
It's just me.
See, I haven't done that yet. I think I'm going to start doing that a little bit here and there, but I haven't. I always have a guest, or I always have like 2 people or something like that.
Most people do. Most people have a guest.
How do you do you do video as well? Or do you just
I only do audio.
You do audio, okay.
Yeah.
So you just are there talking with your weird news. You do all the research. You got your stories up.
So I get my stories. I'll write some jokes before I start recording. I'll just kind of read some of the story, and I'll try and write some jokes about it. And I'll do 3, usually 3 stories. And it comes to about, under 20 minutes each episode.
Okay, so each episode is like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I'll crack some jokes. I'll give some maybe personal anecdotes if they're appropriate and they have something to do with it. And I often put my opinion in there.
Right.
As a comic, I'm very opinionated. But I try and keep it light. I don't go, I don't get hard.
Because then it like skews like certain audience members away or towards it.
I don't want to scare anybody off. I want this to be able to be listened to.
It's fun.
All ages. From all backgrounds, if I can.
Yeah. No, I like that.
I don't swear. I'm not there. I keep it clean.
See, this is the opposite. This is
hard. Hard to do.
We always swear. Now, are you generally a clean comic? Is most of your material clean? Or
I'm clean, but I swear in my act.
In your act.
If I take out the swears, it's 100% clean. Oh, that reminds me. I brought you a gift.
Oh.
Yeah. This is this is an emotional support F-bomb.
All right.
So if you're ever feeling frustrated, Doug, you just give it a squeeze. Keep it here.
Does it make a noise?
No, it doesn't make a noise. I wish it did.
Emotional support bomb. Feeling stressed, squeeze tightly, aim, and release. Satisfaction guaranteed.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. I do like that. F-bomb. There it is. Let's show the camera. That's cool. I like that. Look at that.
There you go.
That will come in. Yeah, I will use this.
That'll come in handy.
Oh, because trust me, like even building this place, I could have used this like 5 times a day. Like, so frustrating at times doing that stuff. This is great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're the first guest that has brought me a gift, I think, on the show.
Well, I like to bring gifts when I'm guests.
That's very thoughtful of you. Most of the guests are not thoughtful.
Yeah, see.
That's right. I'm talking to everyone else who's been on this show. Yeah.
I usually bring gifts of cannabis, but
okay, yeah.
And I believe you're a cannabis user.
I dabble.
You dabble a bit.
I do more of like an edible situation.
Yeah.
Or vape. I don't like this.
I could have brought you a nice vape. I thought that would be cool though. The F-bomb.
This is great.
The emotional support F-bomb.
This is gonna stay in here, and I'm definitely gonna use it. Even if it's during an episode where I'm like getting pissed off at a topic or guest or something, it'll come in handy for sure. I'll dabble in the gummy department or the vape. The actual smoking, I can't do it anymore because it just hurts my throat. Like I'll start coughing, and then like my throat hurts for like the next day.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have options now. You don't have to do that.
There's too many options.
That's old school smoking.
Yeah, it is.
I like the smoking. I still do it.
Do you drink? You drink though too, or no?
I do drink.
Yeah. So I can't smoke and drink at the same time.
I try not to do that.
Last time I did that, I was a fucking wreck. It was crazy. It was like I don't even know what happened to me. I can't do both anymore. I have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, no, I think that's called being an adult.
Yeah. Once you're past 40, it's like, come on, get your shit. Like, pick one thing for the night and then go with it.
Hey, this is the vice for me tonight. I'm going hookers.
Hookers. Yeah, there you go.
Or I'm going booze, or I'm going weed, but I'm not combining any of those things.
If I'm gonna do a hooker, I need some booze. I think for sure. Yeah, I need some other substance to convince myself this is appropriate. That's funny though. But I love that you do the podcast alone. I do love that because it's very and you do 5 days a week. Are you on like? Do you take breaks, or you just every day you get up? What's your routine to record? Because it's hard to stick to it.
It's super hard to stick to it. But once like anything else, like going to the gym, like if you just get into it and you're doing something every day as part of your just life routine. Now I can't do a lot of things like that, you know. But this is something that's one thing that takes a few hours that I commit to, and I'm just gonna do it every day, and it just something takes over in your mind. It's just a thing that you do now. So my routine is basically get up at like 9 a.m., coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm reading some articles. I save weird news articles usually.
Right.
That I come across. So I have a bin.
Or whatever,
And then I get a lot from listeners email me and DM me stories as well. So I'll look through them. And then I'll pick a few out, 3 that I like. And then I'll start to like write some jokes about them as I drink coffee, read them a little bit. And then finally I'll eat something probably around 11 maybe.
Right, yeah.
And then I like to be recording by like noon, sometimes 1.
By noon, and then you release it that day?
Yeah, I release them around 2:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3.
I love that.
Yeah. Edited, recorded, boom.
Editing,
I do it right in my closet. I record in my closet.
That's a good place to do it for just audio. Yeah,
for just audio. It's big enough to I can sit in there and I have a little table, and then the clothes are like they act like the stuff that you have here that you spent money on. Like I'm just using I'm using my clothes in there.
That's how I started with this. It was during pandemic. It was like doing voiceover. in a closet with clothes.
It works.
It works.
I've done it in my car.
And then I got carried away at some point. I'm like technically obsessed with shit. Like that's my problem. It's like I start out like when I was like, oh, this could be fun to do. You know what I mean? And then it's like I do a couple episodes, and then I'm like, but like, what if I added this, or what if I did this, or this equipment? Like I don't know. I become obsessed with like, oh, how cool could it look, or like what could it be? You know what I mean? And then I get and then before you know it, I'm renting shit that I probably shouldn't be spending money on. But I'm like, but now it's like it's a business. Now I'm like, all right, now this is a business, and now it has to work somehow.
Well, look at what you've done. Is your obsession has turned into something that's really cool. I can say that right now, first person experience, because I'm in the space. Yeah, and it's really dope. Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun.
This ain't a bad hobby to have.
It's not a bad hobby. No, but not. And we're still on the cusp of like. I mean, it's very popular now. Everyone's trying to do it now, and I think it's like it's in that like sweet spot where it's getting even more popular and like building, and it's like even from like looking into like research of like how to advertise like a space like this or whatever. It's like like you're in a great spot location wise, Google ads, like people are looking for this stuff in this area, so. All this like research I've been doing, I'm like, all right, hopefully, you get clients like popping in here and there. We're kind of like soft launching right now. Right. As we go, we hope to, build it even more, So.
Not everybody can say their hobby makes an income.
Right.
You
That's
know
true.
What I mean?
That is true. Yeah.
You could spend just as much money on being obsessed with skiing and,
and skiing's
and not get anything out of it except for broken ankles or something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Skiing's an investment, and that's a lot of money. And then you also move over little bit. I'm just like my angle's a little off. All right, there we go. Skiing. Do you ski?
No, I never skied in my life.
Yeah, I've done it once. I have friends that do it, and I don't want to do it. Everyone I know that has went back and done it at my age now has broken something, or pulled an ACL, or tore it, or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of people I know.
And then they're out of commission for like months.
Yep. And because at that age, when you have a situation, you don't recover. As quickly.
No, and it's like it literally it'll fuck up your whole routine,
Joe Prano, like
did he? Yeah.
Like broke his whole leg skiing. I don't know, it's 3 years ago. He's still fucked up about it. Like he still can't. He still won't do certain things.
Yeah. See, that scares me as an older adult at this point.
Yeah, man. At our age, man, you can't. That's why I'm very, very reluctant to ski, and I'm definitely not. Right. I'm never skydiving. I'm never doing that.
No. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I mean, like I look at Tom Cruise, and I'm like, yeah, damn, this guy. God bless him. I'm like, Jesus. All All right, so Jonesy is you're a one name comedian, which is always fascinating to me. Because that's you have a first name, obviously, right? What is your first name?
Chris.
Chris. I didn't even know that.
Oh, you didn't even know that? Yeah.
I thought it was either I thought it was Chris or Matt. I wasn't sure, but I've always just met you as Jonesy.
Yeah, a lot of comics in LA don't only know me as Jonesy. They don't even know my first name until they pay me via Venmo, and then they say, "Oh, Chris Jones."
Oh, Chris Jones.
Yeah,
I'm
like, yeah. Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone, right? Like you don't want this. So when did you decide to just go by Jonesy at some point? Like when? How long have you been doing comedy, by the way? First of all, a long time, right?
Over 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Over 20 years.
I started in Boston, and I just started using it. It was my nickname for a long time.
Like growing up.
Yeah, because my last name was Jones.
Right.
And then I used it on stage as my stage name when I started comedy because I just thought it'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to New York and got an agent, started acting, and then booked some stuff, and I had to get into SAG, and I used Jonesy as the SAG name as well because Chris Jones is already taken. Christopher Jones is already taken. Yeah. They only dish out one SAG number.
One name you can use, right?
To one name. Like that's why you see a lot of actors using last names that aren't theirs, or they'll use like C.S. Moore or something. You're why would they do that?
That's like Michael Keaton was like Michael Douglas, but there was already a Michael Douglas.
That's right. So my name is so common, Chris Jones. So like I just kept that as Jonesy, and then I'm like, I'm just gonna go all in on this Jonesy at this point.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's on my IMDb name. It's my IMDb
and
name.
Then it works, and it's easier.
It seems to work.
It's easier for everyone just knows you as that, and even show producers or hosts. Here's Jonesy, But I love that because it's like it's like a rock star kind of status almost, like Madonna or it's
Prince.
Like Prince,
or whatever he went by.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like not many people can pull it off and pull it off well, and you have done that, and you have accomplished that. So you're a full-time comic, correct? Like this is pretty much what you do all the time.
I pay my bills with the podcast and stand-up.
Right.
Lucky me.
And that's amazing. Yeah.
And I just barely do it, but I do it.
But you go on the road a lot too, right?
Not a lot.
Not a lot?
No, I probably leave town once a month.
Okay.
I don't like to be out of LA that much.
Yeah. You used to go on the road a lot?
No, I've never really wanted to.
Yeah. Now, so you leave once a month to do show gigs.
Yeah.
But you find enough work within like Southern California and stuff like that.
Yeah. I can do doing these one-nighters, these headlining one-nighter gigs.
Right.
I got to drive, but you do it, and I just piece it together. I don't need a lot of money to get by. I don't need I don't need to be leaving time. Like that would be a nightmare to me. Like my working comics that leave all the time, they do cruise ships. That seems like. 10 years ago, I would have loved to have done it because I just wanted to work and I didn't care the stage. But now I'm older and I'm more particular about my lifestyle and where I want to be in time and place. And what the fuck, I want to be in Canton, Ohio, and one weekend, and then in.
I get that. I mean, I've done a little traveling with like my show or whatever, but like it's I can see like I think when you do it seldomly, it like is exciting and fun.
It is.
Like it's like if like all right, you know what, I'm gonna go out of town with my show once a month or once every other month or something, you know what I mean? Then it's like, okay, it's exciting. But like if you're doing that like every week or every other week, like you're tired. Like it's like you're not home, and it's like I'm old. Like I got dogs. I got you got your
dogs
routine here.
Yeah, that's
now
tough.
I got this studio. I got to figure out. So it's
getting on planes just again and again and again. Who wants to deal with that? It's a pain in the ass. Plus, if you do it like this once a month, you can go to cool cities. You don't have to do the crap. I can just go to Denver, Portland, Dallas, Atlanta, Boston, New York. I can go to like San Francisco. I can go to just cool cities that I dig.
Yep.
Chicago, go to cool cities.
Hit it up and like you make a trip out of it. It's a long weekend or whatever,
And I'm not stuck in some city that I would have never wanted to go to just because I have to do it because I want to be on the road every weekend.
And then you're staying in some
Not that there's anything wrong with those places, but
it's you're staying in some motel that's like, it's like not even in the city. It's like a suburb of whatever city.
Right, that's right. You don't have a car. You never have a car.
You can walk to whatever chain restaurants are like within 10 feet of the hotel or whatever.
I'm over 40 now. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing it.
It's not worth it.
The weather here, I like being here. I play sports. I play baseball and softball on weekends, and so most of the month I'm able to play on a Saturday or Sunday,
Yeah.
either one, or
You got
sometimes
your routine,
both.
yeah.
And I want to be able to do that here, for as long as I live here.
That's good, and it's doable as a comedian. Like everyone thinks that you need to be on the road or on touring all over the place or whatever, and you don't have to. You find great gigs locally and all that good stuff. Now, as far as acting goes, you started as an actor as well. You have had parts on shows like Kimmy Schmidt. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
The Letterman show. You were on the Letterman show.
I was. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool credit.
I did Gotham as well.
Gotham. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good show.
Did some crime shows way back then, like Law and Order, Blue Bloods. These things.
the
All of that was in New York.
Yeah.
I did a lot of acting in New York.
Not as much here.
Not as much here
Do
at
you
all.
miss New York versus LA?
I miss the people.
Yeah.
And I miss getting around without a car. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The feel of a neighborhood.
LA is tough for first of all, like making friends. I feel like, or like
very hard
unless obviously comedians or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to date. It's hard to make friends when you're
That's
like over 40, I'd say.
Yep.
And then like the car thing, you got to have a car pretty much.
Yep.
Unless you just stay in your neighborhood or whatever.
Yeah. You making meeting people is.
It's weird, right?
Here has always been.
I've lived here 22 years. It's a weird. I mean, I've had friends, but now I'm in this situation where like friends are either they're married or they have kids or they people just give up and leave and move to another city, which I get. But then like those were your people you hung out with, and now it's like I got to start over and make some new friends. But now I'm like 44, and I'm like,
so
who
hard.
the fuck wants to hang out with me?
So hard. It's like even like I moved to LA. It was so I would like talk to my neighbor, and my neighbor like, "What are you talking to me for?" I'm like, "Oh, like in New York, I knew all my neighbors.
Right.
I knew almost everybody in my first place I lived in Manhattan. I knew there wasn't a lot of units, but we all knew each other.
Yeah.
And we would all talk to each other and
the neighbor thing and like the building. Like I'm fortunate that my next door neighbors have become like some of my best friends. Like we hang out
That's
and all
great.
that stuff, and we share like a little backyard area or whatever. But normally the buildings I have lived in, everyone's been friendly and has hung out. But like a lot of places don't have that, or like they're like, I don't know who lives next to me. I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, it's very common to ask a LA friend, "Do you know your neighbors?" and be like, "Not really."
Right.
I talked to one of them at the mailbox. Like,
Right.
It's like in New York, you had to like. It's a sort of a feeling of we're all in this together, and for safety reasons, I feel like we all need to know each other in this building.
Yeah,
because sometimes shit goes down in New York. And you just want to know.
Well, that's when people get to know each other. I feel like the fires here. I feel like people in the Palisades and all that shit finally were knowing their neighbors because there was an emergency. It was like, oh my God, the hills are on fire. Where are you going? Do you know what I mean?
People bond this way.
It's the first time they may have met their next door neighbor from across the way or whatever.
Crises.
Or like COVID or whatever. It's like people were like, oh hi, how are you? It's like people, they get out of their routine or an emergency situation and they're forced to like talk to someone.
Yeah, this is like a thing, right? Crises making people bond. A shared crises or a shared mission.
Right.
This is why soldiers, when they come back from fighting in a war, they many of them, upon being interviewed, will say they would wish they could go back.
Yeah.
Because they're not close to anybody. They don't have a bond like they did with those soldiers and that little community, that little tribe that they were in for that 2 years or whatever it was. And they long for that. Same thing with prison. People get out of prison. A lot of them want to get back because they have that. They've left that community. They have a shared. They're experiencing a crisis in there.
I get that. There's been times where because I recently went through a divorce and stuff, and I was like, there's been times where I'm like, like there's been like some lonely times, especially like as a comedian, and then I'm like single, and like there's like I live alone, so like I don't have a roommate or anything like that. But there's been some times where I'm like, it's lonely as fuck. Like no one's around to hang out with. Everyone's busy. I got nothing to do. I got no one's around. I'm like, and I've watched like these prison shows, and I'm like, you know what? Prison might be kind of cool, like to just fucking hang out and do something. I don't know. Like,
You're eating with a bunch of people.
I am always like, I would get so much more done productively in prison. Sometimes I've thought, like, first of all, I'd get in shape. I wouldn't be fucking drinking. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be like wasting time. I'd actually like write books and scripts and work out, and
you wouldn't be lonely.
Probably also get raped, but whatever. You know, but at the same time, it's like like you'd have a friend. I don't know. Like it would be a cool social experiment. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it depends on what prison you go into. You know, because like you don't want. There's obviously certain ones you probably don't want to go into. But
this is one of the different. That's a major difference between living in New York City and here. Is in New York City you feel like you're actually part of this community.
Yeah,
you really do, and you see the same faces all the time in your little area. And you could sit on your stoop and like so many people walking by, and you could.
And even going to like a bar in New York. I mean, I grew up in North Jersey. I never actually lived in New York, but like that was my city growing up, like 25 minutes from there. Even going to a bar, like you make friends immediately. Like sit down, people are there hanging out, talking. Like here, it's like I don't know. It's not as easy to sit at the bar. It's like everyone's in their own world or bubble. And, you know, it's like it just doesn't happen as organically, you know?
Yeah, I've struggled making friends out here, and I struggled, you know, the dating thing is more difficult here, too.
Dating is awful.
It was much easier in New York. Now, granted, I was younger and better looking, but there's, in New York, there's, you know, there's a centralized meeting place that everyone goes to, you know, Manhattan. When you line up a date, even on an app, where you want to get together, it's in Manhattan. We're going to get a drink in Manhattan. Out here, you're like, well, where are you? Oh, you know, I'm in Venice. Oh, well, fuck, I'm in Pasadena. So
forget it.
There's no centralized spot that everybody agrees to. Like we all meet.
What part of town do you live in?
I live in Eagle Rock.
Eagle Rock. Okay, so that's far east compared to like, I mean, I don't know, a lot of people. So like, are you on the app, like the dating apps? You on any of those?
I'm not anymore, but I was. Yeah.
So like, if you talk to someone and they live in Venice and you're in Eagle Rock, it's like forget.
That's a deal breaker. Yeah,
it's a deal breaker.
That's a total deal breaker.
It's crazy to me but like one of my friends lives in Chinatown. And he was dating someone that lived in Manhattan Beach, and they made it work for like 3 years.
Oh,
and
really?
I was like, that's inspiring. I was like, you know, it didn't work out, but like I was at the same time, I was like, that's crazy, because like for me, I'd be like, nah. I've gotten used to my Beverly Grove area. The fact that I live down the street from the studio. I can walk here. I go to the Improv. You know, so I'm like, what's in my wheelhouse
in your world here? Yeah,
exactly.
Sure. And you know, on those apps, you can even limit the sort of mileage. So I'd imagine people out here are limiting it to like a 4-mile radius or something, or a mile, right?
Like, who's down there? Like my dream girl is like, are you down the street? Can we walk to the Grove? Like, it's like but that's not going to happen most.
But like that can happen in like a city like New York. You know what I mean? That's sort of stuff. And of course, just always being in, you always have to go to Manhattan for something, whether it's your job or you live there or you have to run errands or something. Everybody around there, even in the boroughs, are always coming into Manhattan at some point during the week, and so that's just the meeting spot. And I kind of miss that.
Yeah,
I'll go months without seeing comics out here that live on the West Side. You know, right? I don't really do too many shows on the West Side, so like I won't see them for months
unless you see them at a show or venue. It's like you don't see them sometimes. You have to go out of your way. It's like I got to go to the Improv, or I got to go. You know, who's here? Who's hanging out? You know, it's it's challenging. Do you think you'd ever move back to New York?
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
It's just the weather's too crappy.
It's too crappy, yeah.
I've
thought about, like, I've always wanted to live in New York, but I feel like I missed that chance. You know, it was like I moved out here like right after college, and I just stayed, and I was just like,
It's good for your 20s. It's not after that.
That's what I mean.
You want to be comfortable.
Unless you're like
most people want to be
like a millionaire. And don't
if you have the money to be comfortable, if you have the money that you never have to step on the subway, if you have the money for like then it's a
space, then it's a different experience.
If you have extra rooms or something, then it's okay.
It's fair game.
If I moved back, I'd be living like I was before, which is small apartment, small this, always on the subway, just fighting for everything. If I just don't want to deal with that at this age.
No, I get that, man. It's not fun. It's good for like 3-4 days, and then you're tired, and I'm like, all right, time to go back.
I'm there a week. I love it. That's a good sweet spot. A week, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is fun. And then after the week's up, I start smelling the piss. Start noticing this.
Well, yeah, if you're there
noticing
in the summer, the humidity with that.
Oh my God,
odors,
it's brutal.
It's bad. Yeah,
so brutal, man.
The trash and all that.
Oh my God, steaming piles of humid.
I mean, we have the same amount here, but it's spread out and it's not humid here. So
that's right.
The stench doesn't really get out there that much. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it smells like pee there.
Yeah. No, it gets bad. Yeah. Now you, I think I remember talking to you about you traveled to Thailand like not too long ago. Was that true?
Yeah, a year ago right now I was in Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah. The whole month of April last year.
You went for the whole month?
Uh-huh.
That's pretty amazing.
I went to Vietnam as well and in Taiwan.
Yeah.
In Malaysia. So I bounced around, but I was Bangkok. I made my
your hub,
my base.
Your base.
Yeah. I got an Airbnb for a month.
Nice. See, that's something on my list. One of the next trips I want to do, I think, is Thailand. I haven't gone there.
Yeah,
yet.
but you should most definitely go because that that city's amazing. Go to Bangkok. I would recommend. It's amazing. It's just an amazing big city.
Right.
So it's so cool.
And it's cheap once you get there, right?
It's super cheap.
Yeah. You can go for a month and like
you can easily go for a month.
Yeah.
You live like a king.
Right.
It's amazing. Right. And I know a buddy of mine has a comedy club there. So if you wanted to work,
I've looked up that comedy club. How was it performing there? How did you like that?
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Every night I was there, I was on stage.
Is it English speaking, obviously, but is it tourists that are there?
It's tourists, yeah. And from all around the world, English speaking people. They have a street team.
Yeah.
He employs some Thai people. This is how he got his. He was able to get citizenship over there by having a business. And if you employ a certain amount of Thai people, he explained to me.
Right.
I think it's 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
You, if your business employs that many locals, they'll give you this sort of like business type citizenship.
That's interesting.
And so he would send the street team out, and they were just grabbing all the white people they could find
to come to the show.
Not even knowing whether they speak English. Just hitting up white people.
That makes
comedy,
sense. Yeah.
and they're limited English, but it was enough to bark them.
And they're looking for something to do.
So they're dragging people up from Sweden, Australia, Germany, you name it. Some from the States, from Canada, UK, obviously. So it was like that. So, but you didn't know what you were getting with the crowd. It was not easy.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. Yeah.
It was not easy. It was not easy. It's just you know, my material is extremely American centric. A lot of it.
So yeah, like I've performed in Amsterdam. I've done that, and yeah, it was a little challenging with some of the material, like for them to like, I don't know, like it's different. It's different culture. You know,
it's a completely different culture. They have a different dictionary than we do for a lot of things. Even my slang, like certain words they don't. I'm like, oh, they didn't understand that information because a couple of the words I said they didn't understand. Although all Americans would have understood those words, but they don't use those particular words for those items or those things or places.
Right.
Little simple things like that. And that's all it takes for a joke to crumble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A joke is like a house of cards, man. And if they need all that information to get the punchline, and if you can't get that information in their head,
right, they
can't even understand when you deliver the punchline. And so you got to like change what you say, make it more like worldly or something.
I know, yeah. That's because I was like thinking about trying to bring the Basshole show, like, you know, more countries or something like that, which is mainly storytelling shows, you know, which may be a little bit more relatable for international audiences. I don't know, because it's like a story that maybe they can relate to, you know, something that's like kind of universal, you know. Yeah, like I was trying to dabble in that more, maybe try to bring that over there or something like that. So I don't know, we'll see.
I highly suggest you go to Bangkok.
Yeah,
and I'll link you up with this guy, and you'll have the time of your life, man.
Yeah,
and it's
someone else I was talking to, and they were like, I didn't want to come back. They're like, I wanted to just stay there.
Bro, I didn't want to come back either.
Why don't I live here? They were like,
I've been thinking about it.
I mean, if you can generate income and figure out a way to get, you know, visa or whatever, you know, the visa
would be challenging, but I can do my podcast anywhere. So I think about making a leap like that. And if I was going to do it, Bangkok, if I'm living out of the country, Bangkok or Thailand, I would say would probably be my first choice.
Yeah.
After that experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And I went on a real shitty time of year, man. It was the hottest time of the year.
Wait, what is it?
It was so hot.
Now it's April, right?
It was so unbelievably, brutally hot. It was the hottest place I've ever been in. Humidity out of control. It was very uncomfortable, and yet I still loved it.
Because this is the off season right now, right? Or it's getting into the summer's the off season.
Summer, everyone bounces this time of year.
It's cheaper.
It's too hot.
It's cheaper.
It's too hot. I didn't even know that.
But it like rains more, right?
No, there's no. It rains
in the summer, like our summer.
Yeah. It doesn't.
They say the prime time to go is winter. Our winter.
Yeah. So
right?
I just chatted with the guy, and we're talking about me going back in November.
Nice.
That's like that's the sweet spot.
November.
Yeah.
Okay. It
does rain a little bit at that time of year.
Right.
But it'll rain for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Each day, and that'll be that.
That's not bad.
But the temperature is like bearable. It was not. It was extremely unbearable when I was there last time. But I still loved the place.
And the beaches are amazing. Right?
I didn't make it to the beaches. No,
okay.
I stayed in the big city.
That's someplace I
really need to do that though.
Because the beaches I hear are just paradise.
Yeah. It was too hot, man. I just I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
I just need to be in air conditioning the whole time I was there.
I mean, even Europe in the summer. Like I was in Europe over the summer, and like some of that was like I was like just sweating like nonstop. I'm like, I forgot about how humid these places get. You know, like
yeah. Southeast Asia was when I was there. They were saying it was the hottest that they'd experienced. They're like, hasn't been this hot in 15 years, and I just happened to be there. So maybe it's not always like that, but it was rough.
That is rough. Yeah, no, for sure. Let's take a moment here to talk about our sponsor, BlueChew. BlueChew, guys, be ready when she needs it. BlueChew is a brand that's offering chewable tablets for better sex. Starting now, BlueChew's offering a combo so strong it's going to knock your socks off, Jonesy, and your neighbor's socks off if you talk to them. You'll have to move towns with the amount of noise you're going to be making. With BlueChew Max, it's arrived. It combines the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable tablet. That's right. Its combo acts fast and it lasts. It's a real big boost in your confidence in the bedroom. And BlueChew can help give you confidence where it counts. And you're going to get your first month free if you use promo code Basshole at checkout. That's BlueChew.com, promo code Basshole, your first month free. And you pay $5 shipping, and it'll come to your mailbox, and your weekend's going to be great. Jonesy, do you know what BlueChew is? Have you heard of it?
Of course I have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see the ads.
It's as we get older, this is the kind of stuff that pops up in our Instagram feeds.
That's right.
Signaling us just to be like,
That's
hey,
right.
You may not need it now, but we're here for you when you do or may need it. You know.
I didn't know the ingredients were both Viagra and Cialis.
Well, that's something new that they're offering.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay.
Now it's BlueChew Max.
Oh, okay.
Kind of
So
like
they're both of
kind
them.
of like HBO when they changed their name to Max. I guess everything's Max now.
Max Boner.
Which I understand for BlueChew Max, but I never understood the switch from HBO to Max for that app. You know,
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got the BlueChew hat, by the way.
I got the BlueChew hat.
I just noticed that. That's cool.
We thank BlueChew for sponsoring the podcast as always.
Thank you, BlueChew.
Yeah, thank you, BlueChew, for sure. That's our sponsor. All right. Now the Basshole live show you have not done yet.
No, you asked me to do it once.
I did, and you said no. You
And I
declined
declined.
politely.
I would be.
which
I would.
get.
I would enjoy being a judge at some point.
Sure.
If you'd be into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't want to.
Now why have you declined to be on it? Are you scared? Do you not have an asshole story? I know you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
You don't want to come off with that image, perhaps. I don't know. It's a different show. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's a combination of I don't have a lot of asshole stories.
Yeah.
And so I would have to force something.
Right.
And I don't know. If it doesn't feel natural to me, then I say no.
It's a different thing. Like, cause it's also like, you know, we get up there and we give the comedian a little shit after the story. If it's not the asshole story we were hoping, or if it's not on par, or like we just decide like, you know, we don't do anything about their set or anything like that.
Yeah,
but like,
I've seen it a couple of times and I enjoyed it. But yeah,
it's fun.
sometimes people think people have a well, people just have there's levels of self-awareness, and so you notice that on a show like that where someone's like, oh, I here's a moment where I really was an asshole, and they tell that story, and you're like, that's really not. I mean.
Yeah, we've had people come on and they're like, yeah, and then they get up there and they're like, they do the same thing, like, I don't know if I really have a story. I'm like, but you said yes to the show, you know?
See, that's the difference between me and other comics.
No, and I appreciate that.
I'm not going to just do anything for stage time. You can have your stage time.
Right.
You know, you got comics in this town who'll say yes to any show.
Absolutely.
They don't
and
even
we've had them on the show.
They don't abide by the format. They just wanted to get on a microphone because they have a problem. And I don't have that problem.
No, and exactly, and that's like first of all, I wish I could like pre-screen everyone's story.
You
and
don't
be like, I don't have the time for that. You know, it's like
you don't have,
I don't have a crew. I don't have an
okay.
assistant doing that. You know what I mean? So I'm taking their word for it that they have an asshole story of some sort. You know what I mean? Right. And then you know they either it's a homework assignment. Sure, like if you don't have one, you got to put a little thought into it and craft it out and with some jokes and a clever story that's entertaining or whatever. And then it may be something that triggers like, oh, you know, I forgot I did that. And that could be an actual good bit. You know, some people do this and they're like, they come out with it with a new bit they can do. You know what I mean? That they never really thought about.
Sure. That could be very helpful.
Yeah. And a lot of people were excited. They were like, oh my God, this story really works. It's funny. Like I never thought about doing it in my stand-up set before. Thanks. You know, whatever. And then there's other people that like do a story. We've had people go up and do a story and then they craft something. And then at the end, they're like, by the way, I was just lying.
You've had that. They've said that. But I'm just lying.
Which is, you know, in the moment it gets laughs. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
But if they were the entertainer that they were and they made us believe all this was happening, they're a good storyteller. They're a good actor, whatever.
Yeah.
They entertained us. You know what I mean? And then they fucking threw us another punch at the end. And then as judges and the host, it's like, all right, fuck you.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
But like, then that's when we have fun with it too at the same time. So it's literally, the show is a circus. No show is the same. And then I'm the ringleader and I'm trying to make it all work somehow.
No, I think I find it very entertaining. I do like to do these theme shows occasionally.
There's a lot of them now.
But I'll cherry pick. Like
Yeah.
I've done. This is the other thing that will happen too. It's like I've done some of the shows that are like I've done one called like Trigger Warning,
What is that one?
where you're supposed to do like triggering material.
Oh, okay. So
I've done like politically incorrect show.
all right. Stuff that like really irks people. maybe.
You should come in and push boundaries.
Yeah.
And come up with some really boundary pushing offensive material.
Okay.
If you can. And I'll see like comics I know and I'm like, bro, you just did your regular set.
Yeah.
What you didn't? They're like, well, I don't know, I don't have any, and I'm like, well, I purposely came up with stuff for this because
I know.
how fun is it to push buttons, anyways? You know what I mean? And some of them, occasionally you have bits that you'll do a couple times, and you'll be like, wow, this is really triggering, and you push it aside, and you're like, maybe I'll revisit that. But on a show like that, you could take it for a spin, and so I took advantage of those moments, and like really, I end up being on the few times I did those shows, I ended up being the most offensive comic on the show. I'm not an offensive comic, but I brought.
It was an exercise for you.
It was a total, and I brought it, and then I look like the dick because I'm the only one that's offensive, and the crowd is like a little.
Right.
The crowd's not. The crowd was like, they were shocked by it.
Yeah, sometimes the crowd doesn't even know what they're there for.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right. And
like when my show, I have to explain like each show. Like I don't know if anyone's been here. This is how this show works. So like I have like bullet points and because it's like it's not your regular comedy show, But then I've seen like the crowd work shows where it's like no material crowd work.
Yeah,
only,
sure.
And I've seen people start off with like questions, but then all of a sudden they're slipping in a bit I've heard like 10 million times, and I'm like, there you go, And it's like,
See, we know. I won't do a crowd work show because I'm bad at crowd work. See, that's the thing. I won't even do that because I know I'm bad at it, so I'm not even going to do it. So I won't even do that. But I did like some of those formats. I do like, and I will do. But I'll just pick my spots, And I'm not going to do something that just seems unnatural to me just to get the stage time.
No, and that's notable of you, and like a lot of people, you're a rare gem when it comes to this comic because there's people that will do anything, and it's like I've had people do my show a couple times, like they're like, I want to get back up there. I'm like, all right. I'm like, do you have any new stories? They're like, yeah, I got another one. I'm like, all right. There's some people are just they have like troughs of asshole stories.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm like, all right, perfect.
And they're perfect for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Or we have, we also like we have a combination of people that like they're newer comics, maybe they're not as good, and like they're a hot mess up there, and that adds a little fun to the show at some point as well, because then we got to deal with that, or it's just awkwardly bad, and then we got to play with it or whatever. So there's a mix of all kinds of people up there, which is always interesting. But do you have any asshole stories that you could or would share on this show?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought about it because
All right.
I figured you were gonna ask, and I had forgotten about this, but I told this story to somebody I'm dating fairly recently.
Okay.
Because I was carrying around some guilt about it, probably not warranted, but I was in like middle school. I was friends with another Chris, and pretty close. Would hang out with him and his family, and they invited me camping in in the woods, like real camping, tents, fires. I'd never done that before. I'd never been in the woods, overnight or anything like that. Yeah. So I was probably 11, and we went, and me and Chris and his parents, and he had a younger brother who was probably 7 or 8, maybe 3 years younger than us. We always picked on this kid.
Right.
Naturally, right? The younger one just picked on. We were so mean to the kid all the time. But that's like
that's what you do.
I don't know if kids do that now. But
I don't know. That is true. That's a good question.
I know because they, trauma is something they bring up at the dinner table these days.
Right.
But that wasn't, we would just do that, And I was picked on by older cousins or whatever the hell. It was kind of like the feast or famine kind of environment that we guys our age grew up in.
Yeah.
So the first night, sleep in the tent, and me and the two brothers, like the boys were all in one tent.
Okay.
They had a big tent for us, and we were all sharing. They like took these sleeping bags and zipped them together, so we were all in like one sleeping bag. Right, this is what's going on. And I gotta pee real bad. In the middle of the night, I gotta piss so bad, but I was so scared to leave the tent and go out there in the forest,
in the wilderness,
to pee. Like I was hearing noises all night, man. Like I was like, it was kind of like.
How old are you again?
I was 11.
11, yeah.
Ish. Yeah, so probably 11. Maybe 12. And so I never heard, those sounds. There's stuff out there that comes out at night.
Totally. Yeah.
It just the
Animals,
woods,
all kinds
the
of shit.
forest comes alive at night. Like stuff's out there moving around and making noises. And I had never experienced that. And I was so scared to go out there to pee. I tried to hold it, and then eventually I just pissed the sleeping bag.
Oh God! Wait, how many kids are in this sleeping bag?
So there's 3 of us.
3 of you.
It's me and
giant sleeping bag.
Yeah, and it's a big sleeping bag. And then so in the morning. I'm just hoping no one, sees the spot,
Right.
And so, but it was found, and then my defense mechanism was to deny that it was me, and to blame it on the young kid.
The young kid.
The young.
But whose pants are all wet? Yours, right?
Well, by then, I already had breakfast. They didn't find it until after.
They didn't find it. Yeah.
But the wet spot had still, so when someone was going in to make it, they discovered it.
Man.
And
you could have just blamed the ground is wet or something. I don't know.
I don't know if I could have gotten away with that, but like the spot was like I was next to the young kid, so I just and so it was easy to blame him. And he denied it. It wasn't me. And I'm like, and then the family was like, because he's younger, they're like, yeah, it was probably him. So they just kind of went with it, and he felt horrible, and I was just like so relieved to not be.
You were relieved from peeing, because it was relieved that you weren't found out.
Such an embarrassing thing.
And then these other kids had to sleep in a puddle of piss for the whole night.
Yeah, so that all happened, and then so now many years goes by,
right?
And that young kid that I blamed it on killed himself.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah,
all right.
Hung himself in a closet, apparently.
Oh God, that's horrible.
And I felt bad about that. Now I'm not saying that me blaming the piss on him.
It wasn't because of the piss. You think? You think he carried that with him? I mean,
I'm hoping
not to make you feel bad, or anything,
I'm hoping he didn't.
God rest his soul. But do you think he was carrying around this pee incident all the years of his life?
In my somewhat paranoid brain at the time when it happened, I was like, oh man, I feel really bad now. I mean, what if this was one of the things that
like if he had a suicide note, like it wasn't me who peed in the tent. I can't take it anymore. That's horrible. I know. I'm sorry, but I mean, you got to make light out of it a little bit. But,
yeah. I think he from the jump, I think he just had a tough life, and I didn't make it any easier on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's tough. Yeah.
We did all kinds of stuff to him. Just buried him in snow and like. And then that incident, which I'll never forget. But I did think about that, and I felt, oh man, why did I do that? I had to, these things. You're a kid though. You gotta forgive yourself, right? This is what kids do. We shift the blame. Did you steal this? No, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
You stole it.
Well, you're not confident enough. They're always covering up something. Like people still do it today. Like it's like they break something. It's like how did this break? I don't know. It's like,
sure.
You don't want to get stuck with a bill or whatever.
That's right. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that was me being an asshole, and the kid hung himself.
That's a good asshole story. I mean, that's something you could do the show with that. I mean, like I think that would work. I mean, it's dark, but it's like the ending. I mean, like our job is to also like bring light out of even a dark story like that.
Yeah.
Bring funny humor out of it, like we just did just now. You know what I mean? So I think you could do the show and
maybe I could. But in my defense, I only just recently thought about that. Like fairly, like I had totally forgotten that this incident had gone down.
When we do it again, I'm going to ask you if you want to do it.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it then.
But we'll also have you judge. But yes, I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think the audience would find that entertaining and dark because that's the thing with like the show. Like not all of them are like laugh out loud, joke. You know what I mean? It's like. It's a real think piece. It's like entertaining. Yeah. It's like alluding, and then it's like that turn coming. Like I didn't see that coming at the end. The kid killing,
killing himself.
You know what I mean? It was a dark way to end it, but it was an honest.
He was in his mid-20s, I think, when he did it too. Young kid. He was young when he did it. I remember that. Maybe 24 or something.
Yeah. You didn't keep in touch with him like throughout the years.
I did not.
Yeah. I only went camping once. In Martha's Vineyard. Actually, you're from Boston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went there once with an ex-girlfriend.
That must be an amazing place to camp.
Well, we camped there because we couldn't afford a hotel there because everything is super fucking
There's only so many buildings.
There's only so many buildings, and each hotel is like, $400, $500 a night or some shit like that. And this was a long time ago. Probably like 15 years ago or something like that. But I remember, Martha's Vineyard, I went camping. But I remember, like listening outside, you'd hear like things walking around, like probably raccoons.
And
like,
that's not even really like a wilderness situation.
No,
it's an island. And it's pretty like
right.
If you camp in California, you'll have oftentimes have bear encounters. I've had a bear encounter.
There, like the beach. I've wanted to try the beach camping kind of thing over.
Yeah, I've done the beach camping as well.
Yeah,
very good.
That seems good. Like less critters, I would imagine.
Yeah,
yeah. Like I wouldn't mind getting out of the tent and peeing in the ocean or the
sure,
sand.
no
whatever,
problem.
You know?
Yeah, but getting out in the forest, oh man! And I've stayed in the.
Also, it's like you're in this sleeping bag with 3 other kids, so like you got to wake everyone up.
I'm gonna wake everybody up.
Isn't that the worst? Like
yeah. And then I gotta walk. I probably could have just pissed outside somewhere, but then they would have heard me, and I would have probably been. So I probably would have, by default, I probably would have actually tried to walk to the outhouse area or the bathroom area because they had bathrooms. But it was a bit of a walk, and in the middle of the night, no flashlight. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this.
I don't like bothering people. Yeah, it's like that's the other thing. It's like you're bothering people to get out or whatever. Like on an airplane, do you always try to get an aisle seat? What do you try to get usually?
I like the aisle seat.
Aisle. So like if you have to go pee, you just get up.
I don't like to bother people.
Right,
yeah, that's right.
Like my worst thing is like. I went to like a play recently in Hollywood, and it was like one of these old theaters or whatever. And my seat was like in the middle, and it's like those wooden seats where it's like it's not the most comfortable fucking thing, but like you're sitting there, and then now all these people are surrounding you.
Yeah, you got like 15 on each side, and
it's like a 2.5 hour play with an intermission. But it's like I don't know, like I just like I'll sit there and watch it, and then it's like I get squeamish, or it's like not that you can really get up and leave in a play. Which is also another weird thing.
No, that's why they have the intermission.
I know, but like it's not like a movie where you're like, fuck, I gotta pee like 15 minutes into this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta plan it out because it's like it's such an intimate space where it's like you're stuck there for at least an hour or more. And it's like I don't like that.
I know. I don't enjoy it either.
Yeah,
no, I do not.
Like I'd rather be in a larger theater. In the back, like with an aisle seat.
Give me the aisle seat. I'm a big aisle seat guy. Yeah. Because I'm considerate now. I mean, obviously, I blame the piss on. I was a different person.
Right.
I regret, I would mail him diapers over the years after that too. I probably shouldn't have done that.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like, you wear a diaper in a situation as you get older. If you're stuck like camping or if you're stuck somewhere,
People do wear adult diapers in situations.
They do. Like those people that go to like Times Square and New Year's Eve.
Times Square New Year's Eve. It's a perfect place for it.
They're wearing diapers.
That
seems crazy to me.
Not embarrassed about it either.
No. But it's like, I don't know. Like that seems nuts. I've done Times Square once, but for New Year's Eve. But I had like a VIP pass to get in, and then like I literally just showed up like a half hour before everything went down. So I was like, all right, that's done. Never again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
it'll never be that good.
It'll never be that good.
Never.
And like the people that have the diapers on, I'm like, they get there at like 6 a.m. and they're sitting there.
They get in the cage area and they're
and shitting in the diaper.
Diaper.
Like you got to change that at some point throughout the day. Like I don't. It's like, how's that done? I don't know.
I'm not doing that. Not to mention it's so fucking cold.
Right? Yeah. Back to the weather. Yeah, that's just awful. That's a good asshole story. I like that asshole story a lot.
Well, you're the asshole story connoisseur, so you would know.
Yeah, that's a good one because it ends so darkly. I mean, obviously, rest in peace to the.
Yeah, because when you hear me tell it, you're probably thinking, well, this isn't so bad, right? But then I'm like, but let me tell you something.
Yeah. That twist at the end is what makes it over the top. Yeah.
And I had completely forgotten about it. And then when I remembered it when he killed him. So I'm like, oh my God, I remember we fucked with him. And then I remember, oh my God, I did that to him.
Yeah.
He was crying.
Right.
He was crying.
Yeah,
I swear it wasn't me.
The dark ones are always interesting because it's like people appreciate them and they don't forget them either. And the hardest thing is like sometimes when people tell them on the live show and then they come on here, it's like, we film most of them, so I try to go back and like remember what it was, but I don't have all of them. You know what I mean? But like some people like will sit here and I'll be like, oh, now I remember the story. But then other people, so it's like I've heard so many at this point, like I can't keep track.
Oh, so you get them back on here to tell the same story that they told live?
So people that have done the live show, I haven't had everyone on. The people that have won, I've tried to have on because their stories usually stand out. But I do try to get other people that even have participated on it to try to come on here. But I try to get them to tell the same story. Sometimes people don't want to tell the same story on the podcast because they sit down here and then they're like, oh, we're filming, there's cameras, there's lights. this is real now, you know. But when they're on that stage in front of an audience, they're like, yeah, fuck it, I don't, you know, yeah, I fucking, you know, did this to my dad or whatever, you know. It's like they feel like no one's gonna see it, and then they get that rush of adrenaline from the crowd or whatever, and they're like, whatever. I can see that. But now it's like, this is a serious. It's not a serious podcast, but like there's times where it's like, you know, we get to know everyone, and it was storytelling. I mean, like I really interview people about their stories, so that now they're like, they feel a little more like, oh, like yeah, this is gonna be on YouTube. People are gonna watch it.
That's right.
There's audio out there of me talking about this.
That's right.
I really don't know if this person hears me talking about this, I might offend them. So they get in their head a little bit more. So I've had people change their stories coming on the podcast versus the one that they've told on the show, and I'm like, all right. I mean, what am I going to do? But you know, it's like at the same time, it's like, that's the story that had you win the show. That one, not as good as the other one, you know, but now we can't talk about it.
You could bring in a transcript and be like, well, actually, on March 11th, you said
exactly.
It was 2 women, not 1.
But that's the thing with comics. Sometimes it's like you know, they are very worried about image, you know, and I get that with the cancel culture and everything that's going around these days. But it's like a lot of people. They want that stage time to do whatever at the club, but then they, you know, when they get on a podcast, they're, you know, like different side of them.
I know. They feel like they're more seen. They feel like they're more on the spot. But they'll take that stage time and say anything.
They'll take it. They'll do anything.
They'll do anything.
Yeah. It's a sickness, right?
You know, there's shows where you take off your clothes and stuff. They'll be like, I'll do it.
Yeah, there's shows where there's like dares now, and like it's like not even about doing a comedy set. It's just like, oh, here's a dare. Will you do it or not? And they're like, yeah, fucking, I'll fucking, you know.
That's pathology, man. I'm just saying. If you feel like you gotta do every show and be like in front of people all the time, you need to take some pills. You need something.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I get it. Stage time is hard to come by in LA and everywhere, pretty much. But like, you're not even doing your set anymore. You're doing like, you know, the fucking.
No,
you know,
where is this getting you?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it gets you. Just to say like, oh yeah, I did that show.
Well, you know what doesn't help is that your show is at the Improv.
Right. Yes.
If your show was at a
bar,
some bar, I think you'd get fewer people that like that bugging you to do it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because they want to get on. They want to get on that microphone in either room. They don't care what under what circumstances.
Yeah. And like I've decided, like the last one that we just did, I'm only gonna do the storytelling one 4 times a year at the Improv now, and the rest are just gonna be regular stand-up shows. One, because I want to make it a little bit more exclusive when we do it there, because we're doing it every month, and it's a hard show to book too. The judges, I gotta find people that have stories, all that stuff, you know. Yeah. So I was like, let's just do 4 quarterly. We'll do the storytelling one, and then regular stand-up shows, and then also go on the road with the storytelling one a little bit more, you know.
You could vet the stories if you only did 4 a year too.
Yeah,
or you could see a guy at a mic, or at a show or something, and be like, hey, that thing that you're talking about that really happened to you,
right?
I think that's appropriate for this asshole thing.
I'd love to. I wish I had the time to do that. Yeah, that's when I have a team of people to do that.
But if you're only doing 4 a year, I think you might be able to do it like that.
I might be able to. Because you know, it's
every month that's difficult.
We've been doing it over 3 years. Every month,
it's so hard, man. That's so hard.
It's too hard. I mean, I love the form, but I also don't really do any of my stand up on the show. Like my regular set, like there's no room for it really. It's a weird thing. Like I'll go up, you know, I'm on stage the whole time, first of all, so there's no breaks, but it's like I'll go up and do like a joke or some crowd work, and then I get right into it, you know what I mean? So there's no space for me to do. I've done my own asshole story occasionally, but then that kind of gets monotonous after a while. It's like the same. I have like 2 or 3 that I'll do, but like, you know, there's not a lot of time. So
you're more of a presenter curator on this particular thing.
I improvise with the comedians and that kind of stuff, which is fun. It's a different muscle.
And you're good at that.
Thank you. I try to be. But yeah, it's a different thing. But yeah, doing like a 10-minute set like in the middle of that show just like kills it.
No, you can't do that. No. Did you try that in the beginning?
I've never done 10 minutes, but like I've tried.
Squeeze your set in.
I've tried to do like 5 in the beginning, and then it's also a rough spot because you're going first, you're the host, and you're doing it. So what I've done now is like I'll do like a topical joke. Like I'm like, all right, what's going on this week? You know, I'll write like 2 monologue late night kind of style things with like a graphic. I got the projector, but I would be like, all right, here's this, you know, and then like we'll poke fun of that, and then I'll talk to the crowd a little bit, do some crowd work, and then I just get right into the show, you know, and then we improvise throughout it, and that kind of works. But like if I'm there doing like 7 minutes on my divorce. Like, forget it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or
right,
whatever,
right.
or whatever. You know, it's like it's a tough thing to pull off with that show. But so that's why I'm like, all right, four storytelling shows, and then the rest just regular stand-up shows.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you know, people have fun with it, and we're gonna get you on. I'm gonna convince you to do that story.
Okay.
At the live show.
If you think it'll go over well, then I'll do it.
I think
I'll
that'll be
do it.
good because obviously you're gonna do a regular set to begin with, which
Yeah.
your stuff is great, so that's
Yeah.
gonna go fine. And then
I'll be able to craft this story and make it funnier than just the way that I told it. If I know that I'm going
totally.
to have to present it to,
Totally.
so I'll craft it to make
and then
it.
that, and then that twist at the end is gonna like have everyone be like, oh. You know?
and then what if I bring a photo of him actually dead too?
Yeah. Or the body, you still have the body. I don't know.
I still have the sleeping bag.
There you go. Yeah, you can see you can add visuals because you got the projector behind you. You can do something like that. You know what I mean?
You see the stain, Exhibit B.
That's hysterical. All right, Jonesy, what shows you got coming? Are you doing anything in the next month? There's your shows coming up. Your podcast obviously is every day.
Yeah, Weird AF News.
Where can people find that? On Spotify? Where is it at?
Yeah, Weird AF News is available on all podcast players and YouTube as well.
Perfect. So make sure you go download and
Weird
subscribe
AF
to
News.
that. Weird AF News. And then you're performing regularly at clubs around Southern California.
Well, this weekend when I'm at the Ice House Friday, and then I'm down in Costa Mesa Saturday. Not next weekend, but the weekend after, I go to Laughlin, Nevada.
Nice.
To work the LA Comedy Club there.
Oh wow! Is that you drive there? How far is that?
Yeah, it's not quite as far as Vegas, but almost. Yeah.
Almost as far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never
Going there.
Never
with
been to Laughlin.
me and Greg Wilson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Greg Wilson.
All right. So if you're in the Laughlin area, make sure you check out those.
This will be my first time there.
Yeah.
I normally wouldn't go to a city like that, but Greg was like, "Come with me. It's actually fun." So let's go.
Greg's fun. Yeah.
And Greg is so fun.
Yeah.
When I go do shows with him, when we go on the road, we have the best time. Yeah. He's so fun.
Yeah, he's great. He did our live show once.
Did he do it?
I haven't had him on the podcast yet, though. I gotta have him on.
He used to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I forget what his story was.
Yeah.
I remember.
He's a reformed man in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love him.
No, he's great. All right. Well, guys, check out Jonesy at all these things he has going on.
Can I drop my Instagram as well?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Oh, yeah. Funny Jones.
Funny Jones.
Yeah. Oh, and my website, jonesy.com.
Jonesy.com.
That's pretty easy to remember.
JONESY.com. Jonesy.com. Go check that out. Subscribe to all his things and make sure you check out his live shows if you are in the area. Jonesy, thanks so much for coming down here and doing this. I hope you had fun.
I had a great time. This is good to be here, Doug. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Guys, don't forget to follow the Basshole Show at Basshole Show, and the YouTube channel has all the full video experiences on it. Remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. We'll see you next time. Ciao.